Welcome to Possibility Sheets, where we explore inspiring stories, innovate ideas, and also a lot of beautiful stories about growth and change. My name is Erica Crespo. I'm the Senior Director of AVANCE San Antonio. For those that are new with Possibility Sheets, this is a podcast that we want to share stories about our families, stories about our organization. And also today we have a very important guest, one of our first parent, and specifically as a father. We are so excited to have here today. So his name is Eduardo Olvera.
How's everybody doing?
Thank you so much for being here, Eduardo.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. It really is.
Yes, and we're so excited because this is our first actual parent that just graduated this past month from our parent-child education program, our PISA program. And we want to have a very great conversation now that it's going to be Father's Day in a couple of weeks. And hopefully, happy Father's Day for all our fathers listening to our podcast. So today we want to share about Eduardo's story. So can you tell us about the moment that AVANCE first reached out to you and your family? How was the experience like?
Yeah. Thinking back, the first time that I ever heard about AVANCE was actually, through my wife. Me and my wife both went through the program, but I was actually out of state at the time. I was working in Virginia, and a lot of stuff was happening during that time. So my wife was actually pregnant with Francisco, and this was while I was gone, and she had told me about a program, the program AVANCE, but she had heard it through a nurse that she had gotten connected with through the Women's Haven program. And the nurse brought up, AVANCE, and she told us about the one of her clients that was going through the program, and about the toy making and the parent education and stuff like that. And, we both make it a priority to educate ourselves to be the best that we can be in whatever we do. So
what it means for you to be a father after participating in the PISA program? What does it mean now for you to be a father?
What it means now, I won't go too much in the past of what it used to mean, but it definitely isn't what I originally thought it to be. To be a father is to be, provider, protector, leader, but more importantly, to be an emotional stronghold for your family. Somebody that they can look to be there when they need it. That the role of a father is super, super important, whether, it comes to being, a parent, or, somebody that can be confided in with your partner, or if you don't have that for other, family members, that can come to you and, be that.
Now so being a father or a parent, there's also the other side of the right of de la moneda, la otra cara de la moneda. What are those challenges for you to being a father and a young father for you? What are those challenges, and what piece of exactly the program help you to understand, to overcome those challenges?
Well, yeah, looking back into the program, and like I said before, looking at my definition of what, father, used to be, I might have not thought it to be that important to be at home, and be, present. Everybody, has to provide in some way, shape, or form. But I think I prioritize being present, not for me, and looking, selfishly, and like, oh, what do I need? I could be tired. It could be, not feeling it today or whatever, but I have a child at home that depends on me to, be an emotional support, a leader to show them, help them through life. And, I can't do that if, I'm being selfish and, only thinking about what I feel, at the time. And, going through the program, that opened my eyes to what it meant, especially when it comes to playing and educating and letting them develop, because there's some things that they do learn on their own, but you help them through that, and you can't just buy some toys, put it in front of them, or turn the TV on and just let them sit in front of the TV. They may learn stuff here and there, but you don't get that connection that is needed, because, human beings are very social. And this is stuff that, the program gives me the education on to, be able to speak on it. The education is by far the most important, the connection is by far the most important thing when it comes to, being a parent. And that's ultimately what changed it. So, being in the program, I think about it. I make sure that no matter what, I'm prioritizing him. And in order for that to happen, I need to make sure that stuff that I need to take care of is done before, being able to give back to, Francisco. And yeah, he's by far the most important thing. And I can't express enough how important it is. Like I said, just to be present.
Oh, much, Eduardo. Those beautiful words. And you mentioned something very important. All my years as a parent educator, I always mention something to our parents, and it's to be present. And today matters, and this is the time for us as a parent to be present, but also to be there for our children, not just providers, but in emotional support, right, as you mentioned. And that is great. So, and how's Francisco doing? I know you mentioned Francisco, but who's Francisco?
Francisco, oh man, he's a handful, just like any other kid. But I wouldn't trade all the time that I sacrificed, maybe for working, or just trying to bring in money, and just being home every day and actually spending quality time with him, interacting with him. And he's starting nowadays, he's starting to talk, and it's actually like earlier than we expected, but he's starting to recognize colors and stuff like that. His first word was blue, mm-hmm. But right now he's in a real talking phase, and energetic. We take him to the park and stuff. He likes to climb on things, and we come home and he does the same thing. But yeah, he's definitely benefited from the program as well. And like I said, I don't know what life would look like, for him or for me and Giselle. We would have done our best, obviously, but having the education to back that up and show him, help him through his development, has been awesome to see. And to see him grow, and his personality is coming out, and mm-hmm. It's a blessing. It truly is.
We are an organization that we want to empower our families, to give them opportunities, of course, to our children, but also to our parents that are coming through the program. So how did the support and guidance that you received coming through the program reshape your understanding in your child's development?
Well, I mean, we like to think that we do enough, for our children, and they provided more of in-depth education for us as parents. Like I said, I may have mentioned it earlier. I'm not sure. Sometimes I go on a ramble and I forget what I say. But especially when it comes to the psychology and how we should interact with him, and some things that they mentioned in the program seem obvious, but they're really not, because I wouldn't have to be reminded if they were, and just making sure that it was we make a conscious effort to apply what they're teaching in the program, and just rethinking everything that we do, and make sure that, like I said, we're practicing what we're being taught. We're not just going to the class and, we're sitting here and, this is good information, and then come home and then life is the same, right? Like that's the things that we're taught in the program benefit, Francisco, and we've seen him grow because of that. But that's pretty
great. So when you were coming to the parenting program, what day are you were participating of the week?
It changed over time. I want to say we started on going on Mondays, and then we started going on Fridays, I believe. But we wanted to do, we went to the, I think the Mondays were Spanish only, and Fridays were bilingual. But it just worked out, with our schedule, and we tried to, free ourselves up as much as possible. And thank God we never missed, a lesson or had to make up a lesson. But we made sure that we were there for sure.
And your experience coming to the program, what was your perspective of what was happening during the parenting class and the toy making? What did you learn from other parents? What was something that you remember coming through the program, the dynamic that happened during the parenting class or the toy making? Right. What are those things that you're always going to remember?
Oh man, it was a beautiful experience, and I didn't see too many fathers there, which I without a doubt, now leaving the program, or even when I was in the program, like I didn't hesitate to, let somebody know about AVANCE, and it's not limited to, just mothers or, whatever your, situation is. But I think the thing that stuck out to me the most is, because at first you come into a new environment and you're like, you kind of observe and, look to see, what's going on. And the educators were able to create an environment where the families could come together, and we realized that a lot of our experiences, were the same, and, the good things, the struggles, some parents knew some things, other parents didn't know. And, it overall just created a bond, with some of the parents. And we're actually, we got invited to, birthday parties to go to, so it goes farther than just being at the class. But that connection was made, with the families. And now we have, relationships with people outside of it. So it was a beautiful thing to see. Like I said, you come into a new environment, you don't know this person, you don't know that person, but then at the end of it, now they're your friends, so and that is just a beautiful thing.
And that is our goal for our parents when they come to our programs, to build that network, that connection with other families. With sometimes can be very feel that we're lonely, or we feel like we are isolated because we are so 100% focused with our children. But having that moment of sharing experiences, right? It's very uplifting for a parent, because sometimes as a parent we forget about ourselves and we focus on our children, right? So now those are things that coming through the program. I need to also focus on what do I want, what do I need, and sometimes that need to have that connection with other families is so important.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I can't stress how it was cool to see. It really was.
Yeah, that is great. And now looking to the future, now that you graduated from the parenting program, how the future look like? What are those goals, or first let's go talk about how do you see yourself as a father with Francisco in the future?
Continuing what, this good thing that we just did for, 9 months is just building on top of that, continuously improving. Obviously, as he grows, he's going to need different things, developmentally. So just make sure that we're helping him through, every step of the way. And, at the same time, like you mentioned, it's easy to, forget that we're important too. And, I mentioned it earlier and that's essentially what I meant is, prioritizing, our development too, so we can have something to give back to, Francisco, but also, helping him through life, because, everything he's seeing is he's probably seeing it for the first time, and he's observing it differently. So life has become like, okay, what can we, do for Francisco? To make sure that he's continuously, growing, and make sure that he gets, the best life that we can possibly give him. But for me and Giselle, it's we're both actually in school right now, so that's the next thing for us, is just keep grinding until we're done with school, and then prioritizing Francisco.
That is great. And I wish you the best for you and Giselle and for your son.
Thank you.
And what are a message that you would like to pass out to our fathers? Those fathers that are coming through the program that have children in Head Start, early Head Start, that they're not 100% sure, because more likely our staff are going to be, in your child's school recruiting for our new program year in our parent-child education program. So what would be that message that you will say to a father that not 100% sure to do this program, or a message as a father?
Oh, that there's a lot I can say about that, but to be more concise, to be more exact. If you're unsure about the program, I would say just go, just try it out, and. There's, like I said, there's no doubt in my mind that they could start the program and see why they need to continue the program. But the first step is just going, because like I said before, we were hesitant as well, starting the program. But for fathers especially, like, this stuff is not to be overlooked. And like I said, it's not specific to just mothers or just women in general. Like, the importance of a father in a kid's life is tremendously important. And the kids having a connection with their dad is also equally important. Where men are not necessarily looked to be like too emotional, or things like that. Like, that's more given to women, but I'm not gonna get into that. But they need it from both sides. So that's a message I have for fathers that are hesitant about going into the program, and just fathers in general. Being present as much as you possibly can. Like, I know you have to work and you have to provide, but being tired this is going to sound kind of rough, and I don't mean it to, but being tired is not an excuse to not invest in your child, because at the end of the day, they need their dad, and you can't do that if you're constantly looking inward and not taking them into account. So being present, being emotionally available.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. That is great, Francis. Eduardo. Tell us about the toy making class. Were you one of those dads that did the toys, or tried to let the partner or wife to do the toys? Yeah. Tell me.
Oh, no, I was definitely, and Giselle. That's why I say she's a lot better than me, and she's the artsy, like, creative one. I can't draw a straight line, so I definitely attempted at first, and we started off making 2 toys, but I wasn't as fast as she was, with the making toys, so we'd have to go back, and then, she'd help me do it. But, we kind of, towards the end, it was like we made 1 toy instead of 2 toys. But it was because I couldn't keep up. So, no, but I definitely attempted, because, and I'll be honest, like, I did feel a type of way about, like, should I be coloring, or should I be, sewing or whatever. And I'm like, no, like, why not? Like, it's something that I'm, putting effort into, and even if it doesn't come out, the way that it's supposed to come out, like, he'll still see the effort. And it's not necessarily just about the toy. It's about, because all of the toys are made to be interactive, right? It's not just a toy that you sit them and then they play with it. No, there's a reason behind the toys, and I don't want to, give too much detail about, the program before people go through it, but there's a reason behind why the toys are made a certain way, and it helps, the kids. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I had no doubt about, what we were doing.
Which one was your favorite toy?
Oh, my favorite one. I grew up playing sports, so the ball was my favorite one.
And it's the hardest one to do.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. So, like, by the time we got to that, we were both sewing at the same time. There was no way I was going to be able to make one.
Yeah, and it's not hard. It's because it requires a lot of sewing, and probably the time in doing the different parts and putting all together, making sure that all those parts, are connected the way they should. There's a reason, as you mentioned, there's a reason behind the toys, and we don't want to, share it, but also it's that connection to build that connection in the classroom with other parents, but also with your child playing with the toy. But yeah, thank you, Eduardo, for sharing. And also, let's go talk about the vision and goals. I know you mentioned that you're going to school. What is your vision for you and your family? How do you see yourself in 10 years? How would you like to see Francisco in 10 years?
Oh, man.
How involved you will be in 10 years with your child?
Yes. Oh, man. 10 years, he'll be 10, 11. Man, it's hard to look that far into the future, but what I would like to see is obviously our family is more than likely going to grow. But, him being in grade school, him actually enjoying, being in school and, having friends, and then coming home and sharing that experience with us, seeing him be more independent and, grow into the person, or starting to grow into the person that, we were raising him to be, essentially, and will be more stable at that point in time where we're making sacrifices, obviously, to pay it, in the future. But yeah, the amazing life that we see creating, for our family, and then, being able to provide for whatever Francisco needs is where we see ourselves, living out, our dreams, because right now we're investing in something that's not only going to pay us, but is going to be fulfilling. And we don't want to, work at a job or, do something that we necessarily don't want to do, because I feel like that comes out in a lot of, family interactions too, where they, parents come home and they don't necessarily like what they're doing. And, the kids see that. And, one of the things we learned in, the parent-child education program is our stress passes on to them, and it's toxic for them. So if they're constantly seeing that, it's gonna hurt them too. So that's the kind of awareness that we need to have, that we're not passing the bad things down. Like, life is going to be life, and good things and not so great things happen, but if we can prevent that from happening by doing the best that we can do, then that's all we can do. So right now we're investing in being or doing something that's going to be fulfilling, rather than just gonna pay us, right?
That is great, Eduardo. And as I mentioned before, I wish you and your wife the best. And this is the time to invest in yourself and to think about the future, because sometimes, and I understand, to be a parent, a young parent, is hard when we have children, when they're little, but sometimes it's better to do the sacrifices at this time. And then thinking about the future, because you never know what you can control, what you can do today. So that is great. Exactly. I wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
And what would be advice that you would give to somebody that doesn't know about AVANCE?
Oh, I mean, just telling them about the program. Obviously, not spoil it for them, because that's something that we kind of cherish too. Is we didn't know anything, about AVANCE. It was the first time we heard about it, and going through the program and experiencing things for the first time. That was something that we'll never forget. So firstly, just telling them about it, and that there's not enough that they can do to continuously be better as a parent, but starting with AVANCE, that's like the first step. That's the first step for making a change in a good direction. There's not enough good things that I can say, about AVANCE. Like I said, if I have the opportunity, any chance that I get, I let somebody know, about it. And like I said, some people look at it and they're like, oh man, these things are obvious. They're going to tell me stuff that, I've heard before, but it's way more in depth than that. And like I said, you can never stop learning. And then, aside from just the learning and the education, you get the relationships, the community, the support, and, AVANCE, like I said, we'll always be grateful, and the amount of resources that they're constantly giving to the families and stuff like that. Like there's no excuse for you not to be successful in whatever you're trying to do, and AVANCE gives you that opportunity. And like I said, we're so grateful for that, and having gone through it, and just being able to do what we want to do, and still, get the most out of, life.
And that's what we want to our families to succeed, but also to have endless possibilities. And we're part of the community. We always, during graduation, we like to mention that after you're graduating from the PISA program, you're always an AVANCE family.
Yes.
So through the years, we're always going to be here providing you support, providing resources, and sharing. We want the best for our family. So that is what we are. It's a community that we support each other. So, yeah, it's Avance. So thank you so much. And let's go do a little game. We call it the rapid fire round. I'm going to be asking you some questions. You're going to just respond the first thing that comes through your mind. Okay?
Okay.
So, what's one word you would use to describe Avance? One word.
Excellent.
Great. What's your go-to self-care activity?
Exercise.
Good. What's a song that always puts you in a good mood?
Oh man, I've had a bunch of. The first one that comes to mind, I drew a blank. It's probably "Oceans" by Hillsong Worship.
Mm-hmm. Next, the last one: diaper duty or bedtime story. Which one will you pick?
Oh, bedtime story for sure. Oh man, if you're choosing diaper over a bedtime story, man, yeah, I don't know who would choose that one, but.
Good. So, Eduardo, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey here with us in Avance. We're so happy. This is our first time that we interview a parent, a father who just graduated from our parent-child education program, and especially we're doing it as a special for our father for Father's Day, that we wish them the best and to be involved with the children. This is the time. This is the time for each father to be there, to be present, and as you, Eduardo, that you show your commitment to the program, coming to the program and graduating. We are so thankful, but also we are so proud of what you and your wife are doing with your child. So thank you so much. Any last words you would like to share?
Oh man, yeah, just thank you to Avante for giving us the opportunity to be better parents and be a part of a community that's way bigger than ourselves, and Avante's doing great works, and yeah, I get to speak about the experience, but my wife, she's awesome, and I give her way more credit than I can take myself. She helps me be a better father and a better husband. So yeah, all the credit goes to her, and I really hope that I'm communicating that I wouldn't be who I am without her, and just thanks to my in-laws, Luvina and Jesus, and then my parents. It takes a tribe to raise children, and us going through the program, we're able to also help them with Francisco's development, and like I said, Avante gave us all the tools to do that. So we'll never. It's a good thing that we'll never stop being, an Avante family, because we owe a lot to this program.
Oh, thank you so much, Eduardo. And to our listeners, remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. And Avance are here to provide the support for you and your family. And thank you to our great father that we had today, Eduardo, to your family. Thank you. And thank you to our listeners too. So this is Erika Crespo. See you soon.